Hello everybody, so this is going to be the second part of the top 3 most fun strategies, and I'm going to be checking out SJB's part. So as opposed to the 3 strategies that I showed in the last episode, now I'm going to be giving those to him, and then from SJB's first video, we're going to be taking the 3 strategies that he showed me, and I'm going to be bringing them onto some expert maps and having them fun in expert chimps mode. So the first one was kind of weird. It was Zely and Energizer, and then also he mentioned what was it, Crossbow Master in there too. So that was kind of funky. And also, by the way, I'm doing this voiceover right after the first video came out, but all the footage was recorded before, and then it was kind of just put on, and it was going to be scheduled later on at a set time. So I didn't see his video when all of this stuff was recorded. That's kind of just a heads up. So I got just on a Discord message, it said Zely with Energizer and Crossbow Master as a mid game, which was kind of odd. So I decided to bring this on Sanctuary because I know Crossbow Master actually is pretty good on Sanctuary. However, when I used Crossbow Master on Sanctuary, I had another tower, well, a hero, that's what I'm saying, that isn't a Zely, that really helped Crossbow Master out with the Pierce, and I struggled a lot with the Pierce in the mid game when it came to using this Crossbow Master. Like, well, it wasn't that I wasn't able, it was Crossbow Master's fault. It was being able to get to Crossbow Master from just a crossbow, because typically I would have just like a hero, whatever hero, even like, actually probably not Striker Jones, but like any other hero that would really do a bunch of stuff and help out with damage, be able to like clear out some of those weaker balloons. Zely doesn't really do that, and in fact it kind of makes it worse because she'll like split all these children up, so the crossbow can't really take up a bunch of stuff. And round 40 was really annoying with this particularly. There was just a lot more struggles than I really expected, but I was eventually, with some extra help of other things, which I ideally did not want to do, I was able to get up to Cross Master and the Energizer, and I got Zely to level 20. What did this do? Well, it allowed me to beat round 100 without doing anything, without buying any levels, which is cool, I guess. And then you also get 20% more hex, which is pretty nice, but in the reality, is this worth it? No, not really. Anyways, there for round 40, you saw that weird bird solution. I tried so much stuff. I think I spent like 30 minutes on that ride. It was pretty nasty, and that was really the only thing that I found that worked. So I guess I'll talk about more like why this generally just isn't that good. It is weird, I'll give it that. It is weird and fun. That's the whole point of the series. It's not to make it good, so I'm not like saying this is a bad strategy and SJB is a bad person because of that. No, that's not what I'm saying. It's just that if you want to like take any takeaway from this video, it's just that this is not good, and it is that in a funny way, and I appreciate that. I had a lot of fun making this and recording these videos, so no hate there. It's just all fun stuff. Anyways, so going on to it, you just get round 100 free and 20% more hex, which really like doesn't do much. Like, I could do the same exact thing with the same amount of hex. And then when it came to like actually beating all the other balloons, we can't just have a crossbow, so we got to get something else too to spend the money on damage. So I go for Prince of Darkness because it just synergizes really well with Zely. Well then Alec buff this guy. I kind of screwed up with the Alec buff, so I could do if I could redo this run, what am I trying to say? I'd fix a few things, especially with round 40, but the Alec buff situation was kind of horrendous. Not the greatest Alec buffing I've ever done. And also I got to get use of the Heart Stopper, which is kind of rare, and also have that downdraft up. But anyways, I got Crossbow Master in round 62, kind of late as opposed to how like early I would get Crossbow Master when using other heroes. But from there, we then had to save up for Energizer, and Crossbow Master kind of continued to stink a bit. It was not as good as I expected, especially because I've used Crossbow Master again on this map more than a few times, I believe, quite a few times actually. I think in like Yule Spins 2 I even got a Crossbow Master here, and it theoretically does well, but with a Zely, it just isn't it. I guess when it comes to like the ZOMGs, the Zely will make all that easier, but I don't really care about ZOMGs for the most part, especially when I'm using Crossbow Master and the potential access to like another hero that would do better stuff, like, I don't know, Psy, pretty much anything else. So yeah, Zely's kind of like a weird hero. She can be really used well with the hex and like all the hex jumping, which I will use advantage of. I have a Zely, might as well use the hex jumping in the late game, but I really feel like as a high skill hero, she still kind of underperforms in many aspects, and I'd rather just like, if I want to like beat a record to get the most cash spare, I probably wouldn't even be using a Zely in like nearly any situation. She's fun to use and you can do some cool things with her, kind of more in a fun way, but really like honestly I don't really see a whole lot of great uses besides certain few niche uses, and maybe what she can do for like some strategies really well-ish. I guess Prince of Darkness fills that role. She's good with Prince of Darkness, but I don't have Prince of Darkness until like way later. I have to get Energizer and then save all the way up for this, doing a bunch of micro with Crossbow Master and using Hex at right times. Like all these rounds required Hex, and I had to plan out using Hex for each and every round. At least with Energizer, I guess they came up quick, but generally I feel like I could have planned for without that, because I have used Zely, of course, without Energizer many times, and usually just like using good abilities you can get them back on all the rounds. It's not like it's a huge issue. Anyways, I was able to get Prince of Darkness there, and we start shredding everything, and for the amount of money I spent on Energizer, definitely didn't get the value out of it. But once we get that, we can overclock this up and beat everything, and at least we can go to sleep by knowing that round 100 will not be an issue in any single way, because we can just hex round 100 and it will all be gone. It is kind of satisfying watching Zely and the Prince of Darkness just gobble up the entirety of rounds with its perfect synergy, though. Zely munches up those ZOMGs. Maybe munches up the ZOMGs, while the Prince of Darkness just gobbles down everything. I'm not sure if I've used actually I have used Prince of Darkness on this map before, but I kind of feel like I remember it being better. Here it didn't really spawn the Bloons as far back as possibly could, so they kind of loop around. So I noticed a lot of times they just like leave, but everything would like kind of still be away from it. So there'd be like zombie Bloons there, but they'd still kind of leave just because the spawn back rate was kind of weird. Anyways, that was that one. I ended up saving 26k spare, so that was pretty interesting. Strategy number 2 I really liked. I brought this one on Workshop here. We brought Pat Fusty and the Blade Maelstrom, and I wanted to do this on a harder map because like Workshop is pretty easy. Like I don't want to be lame and do these on easy maps, because you get like your expert and hard advanced maps. Some of them are just easier, like Dark Castle and Workshop. So I didn't want to like cheap out and be lame and do them on easier maps. But a lot of the harder maps, I either already like did them in previous examples for this 2-part series, or there's just like no space on them. And Pat Fusty also was kind of an issue on a lot of expert maps. He's not that good, so I'm like, okay, fine, I'll do Workshop. So we'll get this guy, we'll get primary expertise, and then we're just going to be able to get a ton of Blade Maelstroms. And this was actually more effective than I thought, surprisingly. I was able to get a ton of Blade Maelstroms. Obviously, it would be more effective to get a Super Maelstrom than all of these, but I had some fun. And the primary expertise actually worked out fairly well with it. It was kind of silly. So I'm going to get Pat Fusty down, just that ninja to start. And we'll start working on Spike Factory. We'll get Spike Mines, clean up stuff. We'll outbuff that. And I'll put a Tornado Druid there to kind of alleviate some pressure off the spikes. You'll see me do this a lot, like an Ice Monkey or Tornado. If you're wondering why you do this, that's because when a Moab pops, it's going to bring a bunch of Bloons and all of that stuff. Like a majority of a Moab before round 81 is in the ceramics, the Bloons inside. So all of that RBE is just going to go into the spikes. So the spikes are multiplied by piercing damage from what the Alk buff brings. So whatever that is, that number is just going down. It's going down a lot because all of the Bloons are like in there. All the RB of Bloons are getting thrown in there too. But if you have something like a Tornado Druid, something that pushes the Bloons back, keeps them away, that will just move that RB out away, and maybe your other tower will then damage the insides. Because as they would only do, like if a tower has 2 damage and 10 pierce, it could only do 2 damage to a single Moab, but it could do 20 damage to the inside of those Bloons. So if we get the tornado, it's going to be moving the damage to be more effective in that area. Or if it's not even pierce capping, it's just going to be free damage. Why not? So it will really alleviate a lot of struggles off that the spike factory, and will allow the spike factory to do a lot more, which is really nice. Plus, if there's just balloons going through, the tornado is going to be sending those balloons back, and the spike factory is going to get more spikes to use what's important, like the stuff that the Moabs that are actually leaking. So that's all cool. Anyways, with that spike mines and the tornado druid and that one maelstrom, I'm able to then save up for the primary expertise. Started saving up pretty early, so we're going to get this guy pretty early too. And all of that will be cool and all. So anyways, I guess I have some time to not really talk much. So I'm going to talk about some random thing that I did today. I spent 5 hours assembling a gingerbread house. That is a lot of hours. I also spent 4 hours, actually it was like 3 hours creating the stencil to make this. It's like a crazy one. I'm going to show you pictures of it later when it's done. But right now it's just like an assembled brown blob filled. It's just like all just gingerbread and taffy. I do have the windows in though, because we melted the Jolly Ranchers to make stained glass windows and put lights inside so it lights up. But anyways, it's a 3-story Victorian mansion with a 12-sided turret, which is an interesting thing. It has a porch, all of that. It's a very cool roof, and it took a lot of work to do. When it's done, I'm definitely going to show pictures of it, but it was so much work, and that's what I did today. I could have been doing like a lot of editing and getting a lot of progress on stuff, but I was busy building a very serious gingerbread house. Anyways, that quick story behind while I was waiting for some of this run to play out. You'll definitely see pictures of that later though. I got primary expertise. I also decided to throw a embrittlement in there, so these guys are doing +1 damage, which is actually quite big because they're not doing much damage base at the maelstrom. And I got 042s. I wasn't really sure like which cross path is better, so I just got 042. I mean, one of them is better. Maybe there's a 50% chance that I chose the right one, in at least in this case scenario. So I just got a bunch of 042s. Really, I don't know if 042 is better. Just hope it is. And then I got embrittlement, so we're going to be doing damage debuff. I think I get that guy to super brittle. It's been a while since I did this run, but we have that, and we're just going to get a lot of them. And with a lot of them, they'll come off cooldown quite quick, and you can spam them, especially because primary expertise gives 20% more cooldown, which is quite a lot. I don't get super brittle, I get glue storm on it too, but that's going to allow me to just take out the DDTs really well. All of this stuff, I can use the motors if I need to. Unfortunately, Pad Roar won't really affect too many of them, just those 2 down at the corner there, but it's gonna be doing pretty well. And when I spam them and like use the abilities, use glue storm too, it actually did way better than I thought. I thought I was gonna have to spend like so much money on getting like other support towers and just absolutely destroying whatever I had saved up and like all of that on the motors. It did better than I thought. And even though that, like, again, a lot of these are placed in terrible spots, like some of those blade maelstroms, they're only getting like 40% of their blades being used. That is not good. You want more like 80 to 90% of them being used. But with all these damage debuffs and stuff like that, I was able to do pretty well. All of these rounds got destroyed with the spam, and I was actually found that I used to be able to get both of those ZMGs hugged on round 97, which was pretty cool with Pat. So Pat took care of that round, just spamming these guys using debuff. I took out round 98, 99 goes down, and round 100, this was the real shocker, it went down pretty easily, like actually really easy. I just had to use those abilities, and I ended up with 22k spare. I could have gotten like more of these guys. It was actually kind of insane, way better than I thought. So if you want something fun that is better than expected, there you go. Anyways, the last one is another fun one. This one also is kind of a silly tried and true that has been a meme among like the mapless community a bit. So this is Perma Brew Bling. When I say bling, it's ball lightning. And in his video, I noticed it was different. He did something different, and in the original message, he gave me something that was like in not Chimps. It was, I think, yeah, I watched the video kind of briefly. It was with special operations and like something moving around. You can't do that at Chimps because you don't get the door gun or monkey knowledge, as Monkey Knowledge is obviously banned. So he gave me another option, and it was Ball Lightning spam with Perma Brew, and I'm like, yes, I am doing that because that is funny as hell. So funny, it's funny in hell, I guess. So we're gonna be bringing this on Ouch because I did a challenge with Druids on Ouch, and it was really fun. Like, they're good. Perma Brewed Poplusts, well, not all Poplusts, just enough Poplusts to give the buff to a bunch of 013s with Oben. It is quite a strong strategy, I must say. So we have that. We're kind of basically doing the same thing, a few alterations just to make it easier. And I'm going to be getting Perma Brew there in the middle, Oben at the bottom. He's going to be buffing all these guys up, and we're going to be getting the Poplusts, one village, and a bunch of the Blings, which is the Ball Lightning. So when it comes to the Ball Lightnings, they take out with Oben buff, you get like enhanced a lot of stuff, but they'll take out Bloons pretty well. They won't, however, really take out Super Ceramics that well, at least as much as a blowback of roughly about just one Druid. So it's not like it's a good thing to spam, especially if you're in the late game. And Perma Brew is great with Druids, but for Ball Lightnings, it doesn't really give much effect. So I'm basically buying Perma Brew for 4 Popless Druids and getting a ton of support for massive amounts of dense balloon waves, which don't even exist when we're going to be getting them, because super ceramics are in effect, and non-super normal ceramics which will drop children, and that's kind of what the Ball Lightning is effective against. Doesn't even exist at all. So we're solving a non-issue by creating a big issue at the same time. Anyways, even though that this is Ouch as the map, I was still able to obviously beat it, because like, it's not that hard to do. Just get some towers, place them down, hit some buttons, and win. But we just had that Perma Brew in the middle. The guys in the middle were doing well. Round 100, I did need some extra help, so in the edge of the Perma Brew range, you could get a few overdrives, and they were able to do quite well. Pop open the bat. Oben was doing a lot. His brambles are really great, and you saw the awesome trick against round 40, where you just one bramble. Well, it has to be out buff. One out buff Oben bramble on the Moab. The Moab layer goes down. Tornado Druid sends everything back. It's super easy round 40 when you're using Oben, and this works on hard maps because you don't need any track length to pull this off, which a lot of round 40 solutions require. It's literally just use Oben ability, and the Tornado Druid sends the ceramics back. It can be done on a super short map, so on expert maps like this, I don't care if I don't have anything planned for round 40, as long as I guess it is planning for round 40, but these towers are good later on, so we aren't wasting money, and we're going into something that will be able to beat round 43 and like 47, lead us into the 50s while being able to create discounts and stuff. So that's really nice. Anyways, I got the 2 Tornado Druids that's just gonna be blowing stuff back, and we got the Popless, and we'll be saving up for our Perma Brew now. Perma Brew's cheap, so it's all really cool. Anyways, you can see the new Christmas skin that's for like the Druids. Kind of interesting, although the really funny thing is that later on you'll see like just the Ball Lightning just is so weird. It like completely, well, it doesn't cover the screen, it's just really jarring and glaring on the screen, at least when you have a bunch of them with the Christmas, because it makes like this gigantic snowball. You kind of see like the lightning bouncing with like that little ball in between the tracks, but this one, it does that, and it has this gigantic snowball that will roll across the screen. And when you have a bunch of them that they're Perma Brewed, their attack speed up by Popless Oben, it's a little bit weird, and especially seeing that side in Chimps mode, it's just kind of odd. So some of the skins are just really weird. Like there's one that the Engineer Vampire Trap, it gives a cleansing foam garlic. So, yeah, if you like garlic, I guess you could get that. Otherwise, it's kind of just weird, but I have all the trophies, so I just buy them. And there's also like a lot of avatars and banners, so I guess I'm kind of just like curious. This is very off topic, but when you like look through the trophy store, At least just for like the avatars and banners, like what did you look for like seeing which one is good and like which one did you want to buy? Because personally, I have them all, but I use the Led Zeppelin one because it's a Led Zeppelin, kind of like Led Zeppelin. I don't really listen to their music a whole lot, but when I do, it's a pretty good jam. I like Rain Song specifically. So yeah, like what do you look for when getting that, and why did you choose whichever one you choose? I never really had to experience that because I just bought all of them. Anyways, moving on to the run itself, and I'm stop yapping. I end up getting Perma Brew, and we got a bunch of tornadoes, and we're going to be progressively upgrading these guys to ball lightning. And then I'm going to grab my Moab glue up there to glue some Moabs, slow everything down. I'm going to be needing way more support than I did than in the Perma Brew pop list spam video, just because we have way less damage than what we had before. I'm going to need a Sabo too, which is kind of crazy, and I'm still going to be upgrading some of these guys to ball of lightning. But now you can see it when I mean that giant snowball. They are like quite big snowballs, and this is like normal projectiles. Like, we don't have anything altered. They just are big snowballs, like big snowballs. Round 98 was pretty close. It took a bunch of tries, and it had a very satisfying solution with all those big snowballs going everywhere. And then on 100, you can see I did need to get some more tacks, so I get those tacks in, just increase their range with village, and that's all I need to crack it open. It opens a wall of trees, is clutch, and takes down the rest. So that was really cool, and if you want to see the other strategies that SJB posted, you can check them out right here. And if I don't get this out in time, then you can just check his channel.